Welcome to this first training mission in which you will learn more about the newest interceptor in the inventory of the Warsaw Pact, the MiG-19P. MiG-19P is a second-generation twin-engine single-seat supersonic aircraft designed to destroy enemy fighters, fighter bombers and bombers in any time of day and weather conditions. This aircraft is equipped with an RP-5 radar, a marvel of Soviet technology, capable of detecting enemy bombers from the distance of up to 12 km and smaller targets like fighters from 9 km. It has two antennas, one for tracking and one for searching. This plane is armed with two NR-30 30mm cannons that are accurate at a range of up to 1,500 meters. For the best firing solutions, you can use the ASP-5N gun sight and the AR-18 radar sight, ensuring target interception even in bad weather in the clouds or at night. Finally, you will carry two R3S air-to-air heat-seeking missiles. The aircraft is also capable of engaging ground targets using unguided bombs and rockets. Comrade, we will begin with having a look around the cockpit. Have your manual ready and read more information about each system as we go through them one by one. You will have as much time as you want. Let me know when you're ready to start. First, the stick on the throttle. The stick is pretty simple, with only 5 major switches, including the trigger, pitch trimmer and gear brakes lever. As for the throttles, these are separate for each of the engines. The throttle quadrant also houses the manual distance to target knob, radio transmitter button, air brake switch, as well as military power and afterburner buttons, which are used to respectively disable and enable the afterburner. Now, moving from left to right, let's have a look at the main instruments installed in the cockpit. The first knob is the radio altimeter dangerous altitude selector. You can use it to set the altitude at which a warning sound will be activated. Below is the pitot tube air data selector. You can choose either main or emergency mode of operations. To the right, you will find the RP-5 radar control panel. The gauge in the middle shows the waveguide's air pressure. The button on the right determines radar's mode of operation, which are disconnected, standby, or operational. This will be covered in more depth in another training lesson. Directly below it is the rocket pod salvo selector, day or night selector for the radar screen, the rocket counter, and armament control panel. Next, we have the left and right engine start buttons as well as the respective air start switches for the engine below them. Next two switches control the mode of operation of the ARU-2 system, responsible for the automatic elevator control used to prevent overcorrections at higher speeds. Below that, you will find the brake parachute jettison button and the ARC-5 predefined frequencies selector knob. Moving on, there is the anti-freeze button and signal flares panel. The long row of switches below is responsible for energizing different pumps and systems. Take some time to familiarize yourself with their functions. Below the switches is a control button for the fuel tank lamps and the lamps themselves. They will light up when tank number 2, 3 and 4 are empty. Further down you will find the left and right engine fuel cutoff valve buttons. Finally, the fire extinguisher button and accompanying fire warning light. That covers the vertical panel. Let's have a look at the horizontal one. First, the oxygen system, the cutoff valve and the control panel. Next, the flaps control panel with the buttons responsible for 3 positions, from left to right, landing, takeoff and retracted. Then there is the throttle quadrant, and in front of it the RSIU4V radio station control panel. It has 6 colored buttons for pre-selected frequencies. The last 3 switches are the aileron hydraulic actuator, bank trimmer and stabilizer mode operation switch. Now let's move over to the right console, starting from the aft panel. The panel in the back contains 10 circuit break switches. Refer to the manual to check the functioning of each of them. To the left of it you will find the SRO2 IFF panel. The switch below opens or closes cockpit ventilation. The knobs immediately to the left control the intensity of both RUFO 45 lamps installed in the cockpit. Panel below is your ARC5P radio navigation system. We will cover its use in another training lesson. The switches to the left energize many systems, including battery, generators, radars and others. Refer to the manual for the full list. Alright, now the horizontal part of the right panel. The 4 pressure gauges from front to back are undercarriage emergency extraction system, main hydraulic system, flaps emergency extraction system and pneumatic system. The 2 valves next to them are used for emergency gear and flap extraction. The switch under the ARC5 panel on 3-colored field is the cockpit temperature selection switch. Green is for auto, red for hot and blue for cold. Finally, the lever behind it is the cockpit pressurization cutoff valve. Good comrade, now look straight ahead. Directly in front of you are 2 different glasses. The larger one is the ASP5N gun sight. The square one behind it is the IR-18-8 radar sight. They are mounted on the ASP5N control panel. Let's have a closer look at it. The knob on the left is used to introduce the target's wingspan when using the optical mode. The green light directly above indicates that the target is within the 2000 meter range. The knob on the right is the dive angle selection scale for bomb and rocket runs. The red light above it lights up when it is time to break the attack. The lever below the wingspan knob is used to cage or uncage the gun sight. The circular display to the right of the ASP5N pedestal is the RP5 radar screen. We will cover it in greater detail in another training lesson. On the left side there are two gauges. The lower one shows the distance to the target. The upper one is the AIM-10 accelerometer. Let's move further to the upper left control panel. The two red covered buttons are for emergency jettisoning of rocket launchers or fuel tanks and bombs. The buttons in the middle are for left and right cannon arming. You need to press them for at least 2 seconds if you want to be able to use your guns. The yellow covered button deploys the braking parachute behind the jet. Finally, the last switch sets the navigation beacon priority to near or far. This will be covered in greater detail in navigation lesson. The switches in the top left part of the front panel are for setting up the lights. Left one is for navigation, right one for the landing and taxi. We use the lever next to them for connecting or disconnecting the nose gear brake. Directly below is the radar altitude mode switch, an emerald connection light indicating whether the radar is functional. To the left you will find the gear handle and the PPS-1 gear flaps and air brake control panel. Now most of the front panel is covered with standard flight instruments and gauges. Use your manual to learn more about their purpose and functioning. Don't worry, comrade, I will wait until you are done. Finished already? Well, you are a very able student. We will make a good pilot out of you. This covers the cockpit familiarization part. In the next lesson you will learn how to start up the MiG-19. That would be all for now, comrade.